Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our series, Harnessing Tech to Connect. Today is Thursday, March the 18th, and this is the second in our spring series of Harnessing Tech to Connect. And today our topic is dementia, keeping loved ones safe using technology. And we have a couple of fabulous experts joining us here. And I'll tell you more about Sarah and Tammy shortly, but it's really very exciting. On behalf of AARP of the in North Carolina, I need to give you all a disclaimer. And AARP is not endorsing a specific product and takes no responsibility for the products that are recommended and displayed by our speakers. So just wanted you to know that up front. My name is Maureen Williams. I'm the Director of Care Navigation for Four Seasons, the Care You Trust here in Western Carolina, North Carolina, and Tammy's kind of in Central North Carolina and the Charlotte area, and Sarah's across the state in Raleigh, so we really do represent across the state. We're very excited to be here. This whole program is a collaboration of several agencies and organizations, and I just want to mention them to you because we've put a lot of work into it and we're really excited about it. First of all, it's a collaboration with the Land of Sky Regional Council's Family Caregiver Program and Project CARE, and Ruth Price is behind the scenes with that, and thank you, Ruth, for all of your leadership with this. AARP North Carolina in the Mountain Region, and Rebecca Chaplin is behind the scenes for us today representing that. And thank you very much, Rebecca. We appreciate it. Four Seasons, the Care You Trust, the Charles George VA Medical Center right here in Asheville, Bob Krollman with Skyheart Consulting, whom you'll hear next week, and the Mayheck Social Bridging Project. And we're very excited about that. And Rebecca's going to put some information about that up on the screen for you. This is a program that pairs older adults who feel isolated while at home, especially during this pandemic, with trained student volunteers who can provide help to them, such as offering conversations or a friendly check-in. There's the information. They can help them with training on the use of technology to act on whatever devices they have. And we've had some wonderful success stories on how the student volunteers have helped older adults at home, begin to use their iPad or to register for something online, programs, or teach them how to use Zoom, or sometimes just providing that nice social contact is very helpful, or to help them get referred to additional resources if needed. So the Social Bridging Project is right here available in Western North Carolina, particularly in the Buncombe County and Asheville areas. So give those folks a call. We really appreciate what they're doing, the students and the adults who are willing to permit them into their lives. So thank you very much. I also need to tell you at the end of this session and all of our sessions, we are going to be posting a survey link. We very much would like to learn more from you about what was valuable or what might be valuable in the future offerings. So that taking that survey also enters you to win one of many wonderful door prizes worth well less than $1 million, but really, really valuable things. Oh, thank you. The survey is already in the chat, but please register for it. Give us a survey, and here's what you might win. A pocket talker hearing device, digital and talking thermometers, robotic animals, and door alarms, some really amazing technology that are those are items that are particularly useful for what Sarah and Tammy will be talking about today. So please let me introduce our experts to you. I think this is going to be wonderful. Tammy Pereboom has worked with the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program, that's NCATP, to add to your acronym list, as an assistive technologist for 12 years. And prior to that, she was a physical therapist who worked in multiple settings. So she brings a real wealth of experience to this session today. And Sarah Gachuz is the aging specialist working with the ADRC CARES grant program for the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program. And this grant focuses on reaching individuals and disabilities who are aging, transitioning, and facing social isolation right now, who have limited resources and funds, especially during this time of social isolation due to the pandemic, and who have assistive technology needs. So ladies, we're delighted you're with us. And Sarah, we will begin with you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having us. We're really excited to be here. Like she said, my name's Sarah Gachuz, and I'm the aging specialist working with NCATP. And I'll let Tammy introduce herself.
I'm Tammy Pereboom, and I'm the Assistive Technologist in the Charlotte area of NCATP.
Yeah, so we're just going to start off by giving you guys some brief background on NCATP and kind of like who we are. So we're a state and federally funded program providing assistive technology services statewide to people of all ages and abilities. And you may ask yourself, what is assistive technology? And odds are you probably know. It's probably something you've come across. You just didn't know there was a specific term related to it. It's an item or a piece of equipment that has been modified or customized, used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. These devices can range from low tech to high tech, low tech being something as simple as a handheld magnifier, or maybe like large print text so somebody can read something easier, or high tech being something more complex like a screen reader, alerting device, a tracking device. I mean, there's so much out there and there's so much in between that's called mid tech. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tammy so she can talk to you about some of the centers and some of the categories of AT that we deal with.
Well, thank you, Sarah. As you mentioned, we are the North Carolina Assistive Technology Program, and we cover all 100 counties in North Carolina through centers that we have. And we have centers in Wilmington, Greenville, Raleigh, Sanford, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Charlotte, Morganton, and Silva. With you in the West, Morganton and Silva are going to be your primary contacts. On the screen is a map of North Carolina that is color-coded with the centers. We have them divided, all 100 counties divided, so that prior to COVID, we saw people in their homes, workplaces, communities, as well as our centers. And the counties are divided mainly to reduce our travel. If you're coming to us, we don't really care how far you travel, but if I'm coming to you, it matters. That is one of the benefits of COVID, is that we're doing a lot of things virtually now. And so even if you are in the West or in the East, I can help you out of the Charlotte office. We are doing demonstrations, which means that if you're wondering how a particular device works, I can show it to you. And then if you would like to borrow it, all of our centers act as a lending library. So if you look at a particular device and you want to try it, we can arrange for you to borrow it, and for up to 2 to 4 weeks usually. That gives you a chance to see if it's really going to work for you. We don't sell anything, so if you do borrow something from us and you find that it really works for you, we can get you catalogs, websites, manufacturers, that type of thing. I personally like that I don't sell anything, because then I can help you to find the best thing for you, regardless of price. And it may be I tell you, I saw something like that at Walmart, or I saw something like that at Lowe's or Home Depot. Or it may be, yep, you need the very sophisticated high-end item. Typically, assistive technology is broken down into categories. Those categories are, in general, vision, hearing, activities of daily living, which refers to all those things you and I do every day, often without thinking about them. Dressing, bathing, grooming, feeding ourselves, housekeeping, cooking, those types of things. Another category is environmental control, which is controlling your lights, television, and telephone. Computer access, speech communication, recreation, sports, and leisure, positioning and mobility, learning, cognition, developmental, and vehicle modifications. Now, our centers don't have everything, but we have a good variety of things. And we also act as a resource center. The driving is a good one, that we don't do driving evaluations. We don't do vehicle modifications, but we do know of resources where you can get those things, and we can help you to find them in your local area. Assistive technology is not a one-size-fits-all situation. It's not age-related and it's not diagnosis-specific. And we typically, as an assistive technologist, I'm going to look at what is the task, what is the environment, what's the individual's preference, and then we're going to look at the tool. And the reason is what Mr. Smith likes and what Mr. Jones likes might be very different, even though they're the same age and have the same medical diagnosis. They might want totally different things. And in order for it to be the best, we need to get Mr. Smith the best thing for Mr. Smith and the best thing for Mr. Jones for Mr. Jones. And then we also want to match you with, as Sarah was talking about, the high tech versus low tech. The example I like to give on that is my parents. My dad was in his glory if you would let him sit on his computer and he could just play around and read and do everything. We always joked he had more technology in his RV than I had in my house, and I work at the technology center. And then my mother was just the opposite. She could do email, didn't want to. She would prefer to send you a handwritten letter. She could do Facebook. She didn't post things. She read things and liked or that. And so what was right for my dad wasn't right for my mom. And so that's where it's important to find out the right thing for each individual. And now we're going to show you some of the examples of different types of assistive technology.
Yeah, so the first thing that we're going to talk about today is animatronic pets. I'm a huge advocate for animatronic pets. And the reason being is because when I was in home health care, I used to work with, aging couples or aging adults a lot. And I would always see these come up. And some of the people that I worked with had dementia. And so you would see sometimes they wouldn't react to, they wouldn't want to talk that day, they wouldn't want to eat, but you would put a pet in their lap and they would just smile. And sometimes they would ask, like, how was the pet doing? They would talk to it like it was really a pet. And it made me feel really good that they were engaging in something so meaningful to them. So an animatronic pet is, I have one here. I have my little tabby kitty, and here she is. She's so cute. And I'm going to actually get her turned on for you. So as you can see, it's very lifelike, and it's just got an easy switch. And it's meowing. It's so cute. You pet it and it will purr. She will blink her eyes. And she is just, it's just really great because it gives you all the benefits of having a pet, but no mess. Because they're robotic, you are able to just have them there and you don't have to clean up after them. So that's really, really great. So let me get her turned off here. And the thing about this is also, I know now, especially in times of COVID, people are, really trying to keep things. We're trying to keep everything very clean and disinfected. And you can actually clean this pet. You can just take a Lysol wipe and just brush her down with a wipe. And she comes with a brush and you just brush through her fur. And you can do that as often as you would like. And it's, really, really great for keeping them clean. So like I said, I'm a huge advocate for animatronic pets. I love them. Another thing I want to talk about is the photo frames. Now, another thing that I found in home healthcare is when I worked with clients, one of the ways to create some kind of relationship with them was through pictures. They loved showing or even seeing pictures of their trips, of family events, or, just sometimes of any kind of experience. And even though most times they wouldn't remember specific scenarios, they would recognize faces. So I also found that like if there was ever a family member talking about like an experience, it would kind of click. Like they would be like, oh yeah, I do remember that happening. So the first device on the left pictured is actually called a talking photo album. And the cool thing about this is you can fill it up with pictures, just like a regular photo album, but then you can also associate recording to go along with the picture. So if you see on the device, there looks like a little play button. So with that picture, you would press play and it would play a phrase that you have recorded into it. It would play a little story or even a date, something that would just help them jog their memory and really help them relive that experience. And I mean, that can be something that's super comforting and meaningful to an individual with dementia. On the right, there was another picture on that same slide. If you could pull up that same picture again. Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. That's actually a digital photo frame. So the really cool thing about a digital photo frame is that you can upload pictures remotely to that. So the person doesn't have to be there next to you putting in, pictures into the photo frame. Somebody who's far away, maybe family members who don't live with with their loved ones, they can still keep grandma updated on how the grandchildren are looking. And most of the devices that you can pair these photo frames with are you can use a tablet, you can use a phone, any kind of smart device you can use to upload pictures to this remotely. So it's just a really great way of keeping individuals engaged and connected, And so both of these devices are really great. And like I said, keeping individuals connected and also keeping them engaged in something meaningful so that, it can help decrease maybe feelings of anxiety, feelings of boredom, some of these feelings that sometimes lead them to, do things like wander, which would not be safe, or feeling agitated. So I always like to talk about those devices, especially because working in home health care prior to, I've seen these things work with individuals, and it's just really great to share that knowledge with everybody else. Now I'll let Tammy talk and share with us some great information she has on some more AT devices.
I think the first one we're going to talk about is different kinds of telephones. And as Sarah alluded to, staying connected with our friends and family is so important, especially in this days of social isolation where you may not be able to physically see them or be in person, but we can be over the telephone. Well, and I speak here in Charlotte, in order to make a phone call, I need to remember 10 digits. That can be really very difficult. These are 3 examples of phones that you can use that I just have to press the picture. The far left is a corded landline phone, and so I just press the picture of the person and it basically has speed dial under it. You could also have like a Red Cross, a picture of a nurse, the word doctor, something like that for someone to be able to reach emergency help. You could also pre-program emergency services such as 911 under it. The middle one is a cell phone. And what it is it is set up so that each contact has a picture. And then, if you're calling Susie, you find Susie's picture, press that, and then it will dial to call Susie or whoever's in the picture. And then the far right is an example of that they do come in cordless phones as well. One situation to tell you how the memory foam phone was really helpful. I worked with a lady who lived in an assisted living center, and in order to call out from her phone out, she had to dial 9 first and then the number she wanted. Well, she couldn't remember to dial 9. And so then she ended up pressing the wrong buttons. She ended up getting the wrong number. She ended up getting the operator who would connect her for a fee. She ended up even getting 911 when it wasn't an emergency. She was just trying to call her son. She got the photo phone and it worked perfectly because she was able to press the buttons for her family members and was able to call them rather than trying to remember their phone numbers. The same person, she was in an assisted living and she was able to take care of herself, but she they wanted the nurses to be aware if she was in the shower because that was a risk activity for her. Well, she didn't ever think to pull the call bell. She didn't want to bother them or whatever, but she was okay with calling them on the telephone to tell them that she was going to take a shower. And so they put the nurses station as one of the the pictures on the phone. She would call, tell them she was going to take a picture or take a shower, and then they knew to kind of maybe check in with her and that. But she didn't feel like it was an emergency, that pressing the call bell was more for emergencies. The next picture, we had a video to show you of the different Amazon Alexa devices. The video didn't work, so that's okay. We're going to go to plan B, and I'm going to tell you what was in the video. To start with, the Alexa devices are put out by Amazon. There's 3 basic ones that we recommend, or that people recommend. The most simple is the Dot. And then there is the Echo, and then there's the Show. They all do very similar things. How they do them is a little different. And the Show has a screen. And so things that need a screen, is what you would need the Show for. The sound quality is a little bit different coming out of the Dot versus the Echo and the Show. I always tell people, if you listen to the radio, if you listen to music on the radio, the Dot will be fine for you. If you listen to music on a stereo, you're going to want either the Echo or the Show because the sound quality is better. All of them work through Wi-Fi. And so you need to have Wi-Fi in your home in order for them to work. All of them are set up with either a smartphone or a tablet, but once they're set up, you don't need the smartphone or the tablet to be present. And so some of the things that you can do with an Alexa device is you can set a reminder. So, Alexa, remind me to take my medicine at 8 a.m. And then at 8 a.m. every day, Alexa will chime and then say, remember to take your medicine, or this is your reminder, take your medicine. You can also set a timer of, tell me, give me a 3-minute timer, or I'm cooking and I need it to bake for 45 minutes or anything like that. And then you can also do appointments and calendars. Alexa, set an appointment for April 1st at 8 a.m. for my doctor's appointment. It will tell you the weather. It will tell you, you can ask, what's the weather? But you can also turn it around and say, do I need an umbrella? And so that way you will know what you need to. You can control televisions. You can listen to music like on the radio. And you can also control your television, control lights, and Alexa will even tell you jokes. I will warn you that her jokes are maybe at the level of a knock-knock joke, so you may kind of groan and think, oh, but they're really fun to, can be lighthearted. Where Alexa can be really helpful is you can ask her the same thing 12 times and she pleasantly answers you 12 times. What time is it? What time is it? And she's going to tell you, it's 1:55. What time is it? It's 1:56. And she's not going to get irritated with you. She's not going to get angry. And so that can be a real helpful thing. The appointments and reminders and medication reminders can be really, really helpful. Now, she's not going to hand you the medicine, but she's going to remind you to take it. I saw that there was a question, but I didn't see what it was.
Yes, you're right. Tammy, well done. Rebecca's going to pop it up. Is the photo cell phone an app? Is that? Yes. There's our one question. Can you see that? Oh, the photo cell phone back on the previous one, the 3. Is that an app?
No.
No.
It's a setting in the phone that you set up, and you can do it with a picture you have of that person, or they can put a person and associate it with their contact. You can do it either way, and it's just in how you set up the phone.
So it's in this was a question I had. So this is in the settings of the phone itself?
Yes.
Tammy? Great.
Yes.
So someone could set it up, and it has to be in that person's cell phone. It can't be altered remotely, correct? There, thanks, Rebecca.
Challenge. I believe so.
Okay.
I believe it would have to be done in that person's cell phone. But as far as distancing, I could walk you through it. As far as, okay, press this button. See, now it says, okay, now put your picture of your granddaughter in there. Okay, now that type of thing. Even if I wasn't in the room with you, it's a little bit more difficult, but it can be done.
So if someone called into one of the assistive technology centers, you all could help someone with that.
Absolutely.
Setup.
Absolutely.
Perfect. That's what we want.
Absolutely.
Great.
Now, you may have to give us a heads up. For example, the telephones are a perfect example. I personally use an iPhone. And if you have an Android, then I need to look up how you do it on the Android.
Right.
Because it's different than what I have and what I use. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just the difference in our personal preferences. And I may need to educate myself on how the Android works. And so I don't want you to think, you can call and I always have the answers. I will find the answers for you, but I may not have them.
That's great. Great.
Were there any questions about the Alexas?
So yes, the question, you mentioned that the Alexas can be set up, they can all be programmed and set up with a smartphone or tablet, but then that smartphone or tablet doesn't have to be there. Tell us more about that, because I think for clients with dementia, their family members might want to know a bit more about that.
The family member, if the family member has a smartphone or a tablet, you can set up the Alexa, take it to, we'll say, your parents' home, and then you take your phone with you, but Alexa will still work. And then if you want to make changes in it, then you would do that through your phone, through your app.
Wherever you are, right?
Correct.
Remotely.
Correct. Yes. They also have just opened a new thing around the first of the year where you can connect. The way I described it before, you would be putting your mother's Alexa device on your Amazon account. If your mother had her own Amazon account, they now have what they call the Care Hub, which you would go into the settings of mom's Alexa, giving permission for you to be a caregiver or to have access to it. And then that way you can look into your app on your phone or your tablet, and it will tell you, oh, mom turned the lights on. Oh, mom got music. Oh, mom asked what time it was, things like that. So that you know that mom is interacting with the Alexa, and then can know. It's more if mom doesn't interact with the Alexa, you may need to call and check in on mom. But if I look and my mom has made phone calls and has made turned the lights on, listen to music, all of that. And then I know mom's fine. And that reminds me, you can also make phone calls through the Alexa simply by saying, Alexa, call somebody. One little thing though, if you're setting up the Alexa for someone else, it goes by your contacts. And so kind of a funny story with that. A friend of mine had an Alexa device. Of course, it was set up with her contacts. Well, her son, I don't know, he's 4th or 5th grade. He took the Alexa into his room because he wanted to listen to music. Well, he thought he was going to be smart and Alexa, call mom. Well, Alexa did call mom, but because it was set up in my friend's contacts, it called the kid's grandma. And so grandma answers and kind of freaked the little boy out because he couldn't figure out, why did it call grandma and not call mom? The answer is because it was set up on mom's app and program.
Right. Well, we have some more chatter on Alexa, and don't worry, Sarah, we have questions for you. But so the medication pieces are just to remind, you could set up reminders for the medications, like go take your medicines in this pill box. And then you kind of hinted at it, how can Alexa report back through the app to a caregiver? You were kind of saying, if you notice the person's not interacting, tell us how they would know that.
Yes, it would. You can set it up where it will send an alert to you of there's been no interaction for however much time. Or you can go in and just see. Now, it will tell you that the person listened to music, but it won't tell you specifically what song or that type of thing. Or it may tell you that she turned the lights on or turned the television on, but it's not going to tell you she turned it on to whatever channel. Just to ensure the privacy of the person whose home it is.
One more question. Can a caregiver see their loved one through Alexa Show?
Yes. You can do video calls through the Alexa Show. If the loved one has the Alexa Show and I have my iPhone, we can do that. And it would be a video call similar to a Zoom call or something going through the Alexa. You can also do what's called a drop-in. And a drop-in is very similar to a phone call, where I drop in to my loved one who has the show, and then I can see what is set up there.
Very good. Great stuff. So much. Take it away, Tammy and Sarah. Thank you. This is a great discussion. Thank you.
Well, and I don't want to give the impression that these are the only devices we have in our center, and we don't want to give the impression that we're endorsing these devices. In the Alexa example, Google has very similar things that does very similar things. And in our center, we actually have both so that you can look at the differences. We wanted to pick a few things to show you. We also wanted to make sure you understood that both Sarah and I work for the state of North Carolina. We don't represent or sell any of the items that we show. And they're just a sampling. And we really wanted to thank you for allowing us to show you some things that we think could be helpful for you or your loved ones.
Absolutely. So here's our contact info. For anybody who just has any kind of questions, feel free to reach out to us. There was also some contact info on the for the different centers on that one slide with the whole state. And so whatever center is closest to you, feel free to contact us with questions.
This is awesome. Stay put, ladies. We have follow-up questions for you.
Okay.
So friends, so Sarah and Tammy, if anybody wanted to reach anywhere across the state, they could just call one of these centers. And even if it's not the one that serves them right now, they'll get them to the right person, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
If you live in Wilmington and you call me, and if it's something I can answer virtually, I will answer it for you. If it's something that you want to borrow and you tell me you live in Wilmington, then I'm going to connect you with my colleague in the Wilmington office or in the Silva office or the Morganton office. Absolutely. But feel free to call any of either Sarah or I, and then we can direct you to which office is closest to you too.
Gotcha. And so all of the items that you all have shared with us today, you have for loan in your centers, is that correct? So if someone saw something here they really liked, they could come and, okay, tell me more.
Think of our centers as like a lending library.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now we are doing contactless drop-offs and pickups. And so what that looks like is we'll just use the Amazon show just as a demo, as an example. You decide, oh, I really want to try that Amazon show. And so then what I would do is send you a digital loan form, which is basically your contact information. In case you forget to bring it back to me, I need to have a way to get a hold of you to remind you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then if you're able to come in and pick it up from the center, we can do that. If not, it is possible for me to either bring it to you or mail it to you. And so then we're going to say you're going to pick it up in my center. I do it both ways where I've had people call me. I'm in the parking lot. Great. I'll bring it out to you. I have it in a bag and I bring it out to you. I hand it to you. And then you go along your way. Now, with the Alexa show as our example, you may need help to set it up. Right. I can't at this point, because of COVID, come to your house and help you set it up, but I can call you and we can talk, whether it be over the telephone or over the computer, like over a Zoom call or something, and help you to set it up for, with our example of the Amazon show, you've got to get it on your Wi-Fi and then connect it to an app, that type of thing. And I can talk you through that. And then the loans are usually 2 to 4 weeks. We want it to be long enough for you to find out if it's what you need and what's going to work for you. But we find if you have it too long, then you think it's yours and you forget to return it to us.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great. So everyone that's watching, please know we have a fabulous assistive technology program in the state of North Carolina that will let you test drive these products. So this is great. So Sarah, one of the products was these fabulous animatronic animals. They're magnificent. How far into the dementia process do you see people interfacing with these? What has been your experience?
So for me personally, when I was in home health care, I really saw it more in like mid to late dementia, where people really started using it to interact with it. But I will tell you that some people have liked even having them in early stages of dementia, just to have a feeling like they're still a caregiver to something. Mm-hmm. And so I think they can really be used across any stage. It just depends on the individual.
Mm-hmm. Now, since you're leading the program, Sarah, that helps people who have limited resources, and I happen to know the cost of these, tell us more about if people really would benefit from this but don't have the resources to purchase. How would they go about contacting you or applying for this grant that you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So through the grant, we would not be able to purchase these animals for them. We would be able to loan them to those individuals and see if it's something that would work for them. But if somebody is interested in the referral process, all they have to do is email me or call me at that contact information that was at the end. And I will then, reach out to them and we'll have a conversation and see if they're a good fit for the grant. And then just go from there. I'll refer them out to the closest center and kind of determine what assistive technology needs they may have.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then back to these the photo frames, and the one that the talking photo frame, it's responsive to touch or to a stylus or something like that. Not everybody has great dexterity. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think it should be responsive to stylus. It should be responsive to your finger. It should be responsive to anything that maybe like a phone screen would be responsive to.
Sure. Great. This is for both of you. A question in behind the scenes is, are you familiar with the shoes that have GPS to track people who wander? Either of you have experience with that? Because we do know about this, right? It happens.
I've watched webinars and trainings on them, but I have not personally used them. And then also, depending on the individual, sometimes there's settings on their phone that could do a similar thing if it's a person that, you know, always remembers to take their phone. Obviously, if you leave the phone on the counter, that's where the shoes come in, are helpful. And then there's also you can set up, I believe, with the shoes, like they call it a geo fence, which means that if you go, like, I can go out in the backyard and it doesn't set off the alert, but if I start walking down the street, then it sets off the alert, so that you're not alerted every time I go out in the backyard, but you are alerted if I get outside of whatever parameters are set up.
Fabulous, fabulous. Sarah, you had nodded. Have you used these before too, or no?
I have not used the shoes, but I was agreeing with what Tammy said about the geofence and stuff.
I wanted to get every pearl of wisdom out of you. Rebecca, if you could pop up their contact information for people watching. This is fabulous. That these are resources in the state of North Carolina, friends, to help us help those that we love or we care for to function better through the use of assistive technology. So these are amazing resources. Sarah and Tammy, you all are amazing and just wonderful. Thank you so, so much. This is just really valuable. And so for those of you watching right now, please, there's a link to a survey in our chat room. Please complete that survey. We're very interested in it. Or if you're viewing this after our live time and want to reach out to Sarah or Tammy, please contact them. They want to hear from you. They want to be of service to the people of North Carolina. And we're so fortunate. So thank you, ladies. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
One other thing. If there's someone on the call or that is watching this that is not in North Carolina, or you have friends or family not in North Carolina that you're concerned about, you are welcome to call. I would be glad to brainstorm ideas. It gets a little gray as far as me dropping things off if your family member lives in Alaska. It's kind of hard for me to get there. But I would be happy to brainstorm with you. And there is our equivalent in every state. And I could help you to find the person in wherever your family member or friends live, if it's South Dakota or if it's California or whatever. I can help you to locate the program in their state. We are the North Carolina program, but each state has, how they do it is a little different, but what they do is very similar.
Fabulous. Fabulous. That's perfect. Yes. And so if you like what you're seeing at this point, please share this video on either YouTube or Facebook on your various platforms, because we want to spread the word. And this is very exciting because there are a lot of great pieces of information out there. I want to remind all of you, thank you, Patricia. I want to remind those of you who are watching to complete the survey. And remember, it enters you to win prizes worth well less than $1 million, including pocket talk hearing devices, digital and talking thermometers, one of the little robotronic animals, the puppies or the cats, and door alarms. These are all invaluable resources for you to help you and your loved ones. And just to remind you, Part 3 of our series is next Thursday, March 25th, also at 1:30. That we do these in series of 3. This will be our third one for the spring, and it's going to be on remote caregiving, caring when you're away. And Bob Krollman, who's been a part of all of our planning for this and just a guru in assistive technology, is going to come back with lots more examples of products that might be useful for you. So thank you on behalf of AARP of the Western Carolina region, the Land of Sky, Four Seasons, Bob Krollman, the Charles George VA Medical Center, and the Mayhack Social Bridging Project. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to Sarah and Tammy for sharing your expertise with us, giving us a few teasers. and just to let all of us know that there's help out there. There is help. So thank you very much for joining us for Harnessing Tech to Connect. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Take care.